Hello and welcome. We're going to start a new introductory series to the game Greyhack. It's not a lot out there on it, so yeah, I wanted to give my share and help new players. I'm quite new myself. I'm by no means an expert, by no means a programmer, but I've been fiddling around, played it. I like it very much. Very hooked on it. So yeah, I wanted to help new players out. So let's get cracking. Let's begin. This is my current computer. It is very intimidating. I can understand that for a new player. So don't worry. This is not how we're going to conduct the series. This is where we're going to hopefully end up together. This is very intimidating, and I understand that. Um, but it's a part of it. It's a part of it. But we'll get there together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new game, a new single-player computer, and a new world, and yeah, everything you see around here, it's going to be similar, but not as in depth as it look now. Um, so yeah, we'll go ahead and reboot together and start a new game. So let's get cracking. Okay, the main menu. So for this series, we're going to be playing a single player world. And you can play online mode, but I strongly advise you to play single player. Because you'll be prone to attacks and getting hacked and reset and yeah, not learning very much if you're starting out directly in the online mode. So I highly advise that you start a single player game. And that's what I'm going to do now together with you. So I will delete my computer, I will delete my world, and I will hit play game. Also, when I am now streaming or recording and showing my world, there's no problems in showing you the passwords, the mails, my account, my IP, the IP's addresses. I don't have to worry about that. If I were to show you on online mode, I would have to redact and hide the public IPs, the passwords, the mails, the everything, because it could eventually lead to me being hacked. So that's also something that it's a peace of mind for me as well, because I don't have to worry about that. So on some other videos, you probably see redacted or hidden or blocks covering the IPs, etc. That's why they are playing on online mode. You should try online mode as well. I'm not saying you should never try it, but I find it easier to learn and play around and just, yeah, um, have fun in a different way on single player. So without further ado, once more, let's get cracking. Take up to the boot process. And here we'll create our user. So you choose a username. I will name mine HKA or E, High King Emmerich. I will go for the throne since it's a king. You'll go for your password. So just think about this as you would your computer you're using right now. Start installation. Okay, and we're back. And the first thing you'll probably notice is that it's completely different from how it looks to you. So if you go up to the top left to preferences and appearance, here you can change the theme and the wallpaper, the scale. Yeah. However you want it. And if you hover over the exclamation mark, you can see where you have to put your wallpaper if you have a special one that you want to use, a custom one. From the top right, this is your user. You can find that if you go to preferences as well, and users. Here you'll see your level, your EXP, your karma if you're a white hat tagger or a black hat. And you see here administrator and root. You'll hear and see root a lot. And what it basically means is administrator. It's the same as a Windows computer. If you're administrator, you can do whatever you want. If you're a root, you're an administrator and you can do whatever you want. But your user here is also an administrator, but the privileges of a root is higher than your user. We'll get more into this later down the line. But just know that as the administrator, you can do more or less everything. As the root, you can do everything. But we'll look more into that later. If we continue, you have the Wi-Fi. We'll also take a look at that soon. This is a handy clipboard for if we have copied text, we find it here again. And then it's the memory use of the computer and the CPU use. Calendar with a clock. The NPCs in the game have a work schedule. They have a time. They go to work. They leisure time, and yeah. So if you were trying to attack a computer or a company, or you'd want to do that at night, preferably, or when they're not at work and using the computer, or maybe you want when they're using the computer. And back to the preferences. Here you have help, same thing that's here. It's the manual. You have programs, which is also what you have on the desktop here. You can reboot and you can shut down. If you go into preferences, streaming, if you are streaming the game, you can, as I talked about earlier, you can hide IPs, URLs, emails, bank, blah, blah. This is not necessary in single player, but in multiplayer it would be wise. Accounts is where you have all your bank and mail for easier access. Accounts, the details of the accounts. Tutorial, you'd probably already gotten the tutorial. I highly recommend to follow it. Highly recommend to do it. And it's nice to just get familiar with the terminal. We'll look at the terminal soon. Yeah, mouse is just if you want to use the hardware mouse or not. Appearance we looked into, and hardware is what it sounds like. You can change your hardware around. You can change the CPU, you can change the memory, and you can change the motherboard, and you can change the power supply and the hard drive, and the network card, and also a graphics card. So all that we'll cover later, but just know that it's here. Okay, and you'll probably see my mouse bouncing back and forth between the takes here. I'm editing and clipping, so that's why. Okay, let's understand the computer. So I'm going to explain it as if you've not used a computer before. File Explorer. This is your home directory. This is your home, same as your computer you're using now, your username, and you have your files. If we go to the house icon, we'll come to the home of your user that you're logged into. If you go up arrow, you'll go one step back. And this is the main branch of the computer. And every computer you find in the game is structured the same way. It's the same way. So again, home, we have the users. Guess it will look exactly the same. You have your users, and there's that root again. Same thing. The root has its own folder as if it's a user. But if you now try to temper or do something within root, we can't. Permission denied, since we're not root. But if I were to go to home and create a new folder within my system or directory and delete, no problem, because I am logged in as me. Also, since I have higher privileges than the guest user, I can do the same in the guest folder. So what are all these? So bin is where your hacks or your binary files are placed. This is where you call them from. We'll also go more in depth into this as we continue. Just know they are here. In the boot, there's the boot files, different system files. The main one here, password. This is the password file for all of the users on the computer, even the roots. It is encrypted, so you don't have to decrypt it. We'll also look into that later, but just know that it's there. We go one step back, and home we've seen lib is libraries, all the different libraries that you can use. Library is different files or different structures for different purposes. And you'll also have libraries that will speak with the binary files. Root we've seen, sys, also here different system files. User bin, this is the desktop basically, the executables. VAR, very important file, the system log. The log is empty because nothing has happened yet. We'll also look more into what the system log is, but as of now, just know that it's there. Okay, that's the File Explorer. But terminal. This is also the File Explorer. How you say? Let's see. This is the name of the user, where it's at, where it's using. And this is the name of the computer or terminal being used. And if I now type, or let's see, let's also get the manual up so we can have that as well. I like to have two when I'm doing like this. And we can also get the notepad, why not? Okay. Let's see. If we go ls, ls as in list. It can be called without parameters. What that means is that you can just type ls and you'll get the list. This will also be covered in the tutorial of the game, so again, I highly recommend you do it. But if you don't, ls gives you the complete list of the folder you're currently in, as if you were standing or looking at it like this. Opening File Explorer could also be done by typing there you go. And another handy one is cd one step back. cd all the way back to home. It's the same as clicking the home icon in File Explorer, cd. If we go into documentation for cd, see if there's anything. No, there's nothing. Okay. But you can also go cd bin ls, and you'll get the whole list of the contents of the folder bin. And you can also see here it says where you are, so it says that you are in bin. So if I were to type, let's see, rm, isn't it? Let's delete. Let's see. Create folder. Is it? Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so mk there. See, there, path new folder. Mk there. Bin. Oh, we have it. Mk there. Bin. Bin 2. And then if we go list, there's bin 2. And if we go to File Explorer, bin, there's bin 2, the folder that we just created. And if we go to rm, delete any file if you have the appropriate permissions. You can see this command permanently deletes the file without sending it to the trash can. So if I then go in bin, inside of bin, rm bin2. Oh, sorry, rm. There you go. /r. Need the /r when it's a folder. If we go to trash, that's the old one from home. It's not the one we created now. If we go back to the system log now, deleted file bin2. It doesn't go to the trash, but the system logs it that I have deleted it. So if I were on another device, that wouldn't be good to leave behind. So select it, delete it. You can't. Permissions denied. What do you do? If this wasn't our computer, we would have to crack the root password. But since it is, we already know the root password because it's the same password as the one you just created. So fret not. How do you change into root? So from the terminal, I'd like to go just back, and I also like to use clear from time to time. It just clears the whole terminal. Sudo is a funny one. It's a nice one to know. Sudo it allows users to run programs with administrator security privileges, also known as root. It can also be used to access as any other user registered on the machine using the U parameter. So, or to log in as root user. Example, sudo s. Sudo s. What's the password? Password is the one we just set. Now, notice that it changed to root here instead of your username. And also the outline became a bit more stronger, if you like. But I just opened up a new terminal by double-clicking from the desktop. I'm not logged in anymore as root, just the instance that I'm on. But there's a way to circumvent this as well. So if you now type the file explorer.exe. Also, we'll open up the file explorer exe. We'll have that there. You can see the outline here as well. It's a bit hard to see, but it's there. But if you also go terminal.exe, this time it's root. Now we have two root terminals instead of the one and the regular one to have a word for it. But we want the root one. But we actually just need the one now. But just know that if you have root, you can still open up the terminal and files, etc. from. You can dupe the terminal, dupe it. But yeah, as you saw here, since I opened it as root file explorer, it opens in the root directory instead of the regular home directory. So yeah, now we want the system log. We could just go, you ask why can't we just go you know, let's do the whole. And then we could do that, but it's not wise because it's suspicious. What we will do instead is go to var system log. Now it's saved. If this was a computer you have gotten into, I can't say the full word, there would be that you have established a connection, and when you're logging out, it will always be that you're exiting as well. So there's always going to be some traces, but there's things to do to get around that as well, and we'll look into that later as well. I'll try not to use too much time here, but it's good to know and nice to know all these things. I think I've covered everything in the file structure and the root. So basically, root is king, then you have users, then you have guest. More or in terms of permissions, what you can do on that computer. So for instance, as well, going into root from desktop and making a new folder and then delete it, can't do it. Go but going from root, from terminal, and then new folder, you can access it, you can use it as you would your own folder or your own directory. Delete it. So yeah, that's file structures and a bit of privileges. We'll stay on the roots. It's fine. Thank you for watching. That was the first in a series of Greyhack introductory videos. We looked at file structure, the boot and setup, system navigation, and the terminal. Next up, we'll set up the Wi-Fi, bank account, mail, and do the first mission.